Kwame talks to my heart, my head, and my vagina.
Hey guys, welcome to the Geek. It's that time of year where we have Love is Blind Season 4.
That's right, it's back.
The pod dating is back.
And we are here for it.
That's right. Well, we've been talking about all these other mediocre shows. Finally get our good show back.
Yeah.
What do we think about the people on this show?
So I got to tell you, man, like right off the bat, they went with more like average Joe looking people in this season than they did compared to other seasons for the most part. Like there's nobody where I was like, guys or girls, I was like, holy shit, man, like that dude's freaking a damn good looking dude, or that chick's a freaking smoke show. I didn't feel that way about really anybody in this season, just off the initial view, right? I mean, later on, you kind of get better feelings for people up there.
You got better feelings.
Out there. I get the feels,
Get
man.
better feelings.
Based off their personalities and stuff, but just the initial reaction of seeing them all, I was like, yeah, okay. There's nobody that's really ugly, or nobody's really super hot. So
I don't know. I didn't pick that up, but I'm glad like everyone's not a 10. I like to see some real people every now and then.
yeah, that's good.
I thought they did a good job of getting good-looking average people. Like, I think, you know, because not to say that people who aren't necessarily good-looking don't deserve a chance, because, like, that's kind of probably the whole good thing about the Love is Blind experiment. But that way, it kind of takes away the, you know, when you meet, oh, am I going to see a troll or, like, nobody was ugly. You know, there are people who were a little better looking than the others, but no one was ugly.
Yeah,
I think that people on the show are better than Married at First Sight, probably looking, and so.
Right.
And I say by society standards, you know, put that little caveat out there.
It seemed like when they were showing the hosts, like Nick Lachey, it seemed like, and his wife, it seemed like they had a lot more people on the show, you know. But they obviously zero in on just a few. But like,
there were several in the background.
When they panned, I was like, man, they got like 20 people in there or something.
Yeah.
Well, and
just on one side.
They do show some conversations with these other people. They show their like age. I love that the person is defined by their name, their age, and what they do for a living. Like that's what you get to know about these people.
Though. I mean, what else?
That's what you are, right? What you do.
I hate it.
What more do you want?
I know. Yeah. I don't need to know what they do for a living. That's like that just shouldn't define a person. But apparently it does.
Another Amber should have said like twice divorcee or something.
Yeah, that would have been nice. That's actually relevant in this situation.
Well, that's true. I guess it is.
But yeah, so they do kind of show that there's other people there, and you've known this from other seasons. And I think from other seasons, there are people who've gotten together and actually gone to the distance, or I don't know if they've actually gone to get married, but have stayed together, and they just didn't get followed by the cameras.
There was that one chick on Perfect Match that never matched with anyone either.
We ain't talking about Perfect Match, man. We're talking about
back on track.
Are you Japanese? Korean?
No.
Chinese? Are you short? Let me guess. 5'1", 4'11".
All right, yeah, well, they did have Billy, and he was like trying to be like another Shake for a little bit. He's like, "Are you like 5'8", 4'9"? What are you?
Can I throw you over my shoulder?
Yeah, and then he's like, I hope you know that I like to wear leopard print. It's like what?
I like wearing leopard print.
You like wearing what?
Leopard print.
Oh, what the hell? No.
He was a weird dude, man. He was a weird dude.
I was kind of hoping to see more of him just for shenanigans. But,
yeah. He didn't make it too far.
He faded pretty quick.
Yeah, I think he turned every chick in that freaking house off, man. Like, just very quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think what Zach came across the first couple times, he told everyone he was a stripper.
I'm a stripper.
Oh my god, ew, I hate that.
I go by the Zach Attack.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was like, this guy's not going to take this seriously, not because he's a stripper, but because it said he wasn't a stripper and that he was telling everybody he was a stripper. But then he
came around.
Yeah, he seemed to want to kind of go in and have fun, but that faded kind of quick. Then it got boring.
When he admitted,
I'm a stripper. Just kidding. I'm really boring.
Right. When he was talking to which one was he was talking to? When he told her, he was like, look, I've been telling her about a stripper, but now I realize, hey, I really need to start taking this seriously, right?
Yeah. So. I'll tell you who my top men are.
Who are they?
Kwame.
No.
No.
Nope. Try again.
Nope.
Next.
Brett's the number one dude.
I liked Brett.
Brett's
and
number
I
one
liked
dude.
Kwame. And yeah, that's it.
What about Marshall? You don't like Marshall in that group?
I do like Marshall, but there's something
little guy.
It's not that.
I don't know
there's
why.
something about about him that I feel like there's some kind of something he's hiding. I don't know. I feel like it might
I don't
come
know
out
if
in
he's the
future
one
episodes.
that
This
you need to
hiding
be
some-
worried about
Right,
in that
right, right.
relationship.
Yeah,
But
yeah, right. I think,
And
Jack, I think Jackie's
Kwame-
got some issues.
I will say I liked Kwame in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and
you
then-
know, and then
Yeah.
the third and fourth, we'll get to it. But I still like him. I still hold out hope for him.
Yeah, man. Brett by far best dude in the house, man. Dude,
Brett,
just
best dude.
Great guy, you
Yeah.
know, good looking dude, freaking, you know, and just good head on his shoulders. You know, really nice guy, man. I like that dude. I mean, I like Kwame to an extent, but then he really screwed it, you know, like you say, screwed his stuff up. We'll get into that later. They kind of turned me off about him. And then we got and Matt, and I liked what's his name, man? The guy you said a minute ago, the little guy.
Marshall.
Marshall. I like Marshall. I thought he was a cool kid,
Yeah.
you know. And you know, Paul, I like Paul, and even
do like Paul.
even Zach, man. Zach's catching like a lot of shit from all the women in this show. Like, oh, he's just such a weirdo. Like, oh, you know, so and so dodged a bullet, and it's like, dude, you've shown us nothing. The show hasn't shown us anything to show he's a bad guy, right? Everything we've seen about him, he's a nice guy.
I know they think he's
you know,
a
so-
weird.
yeah.
I'll tell you.
Probably judge someone by cuties or something. I don't know.
like last time I checked, this whole experiment was to not judge people by their looks, but then as soon as they see him, they're all like, oh,
He's
whatever.
weird.
Yeah, right,
I don't,
exactly.
and I don't think
So-
he comes off as weird. And she said
Yeah.
he looks like a cartoon character, but I think he looks like a cross between Matthew Broderick and the guy who played Chuck. Overall, as far as the men versus the women are way worse than the men. Like
By far.
the men that they have at least featured on this show, they all seem pretty decent.
Yeah,
like
genuine
I'm not
guys.
like I'm not turned off by any of them, but the women.
Yeah, you got freaking
Ugh.
you know, Micah and then her little buddy Alina. You know, they're just, you know, they call them freaking frack in the show, and they're just catty as hell amongst all the other women. And it's funny too, because when they're showing them in the rooms with the guys, they seem like they're good people, right? They seem like they're nice, sweethearts, all that. Man, as soon as you show them together again, you know, in the room with other women, there's little assholes, man, to everybody, and they're childish, right? Especially Alina, she is so childish.
Irina?
Irina,
yeah.
yeah, she's super childish, man. It just totally turns you off.
And this is I'm gonna get the woman hater comments for this again, aren't I?
No, I don't. Not in
I
this
doubt
case.
it.
No, I mean, I don't think so
Will
in this
the women
case.
support me that this is not how women should behave? Like
Yeah,
in general,
absolutely.
like
So what-
it is very catty.
What woman you like?
Right now, I think Chelsea's my number one, man. Really digging Chelsea. Because she's like, number one, she comes in there knowing what she wants. And she's not afraid to tell them that, right? And she's freaking, you know, very sexual, touchy-feely, and she ain't afraid, and she's all about it, you know? She's like, hey, this is what I want, this is who I am, and boom, and just puts it all out there and say, hey, I like that.
Oh, I like Chelsea.
Yeah, my favorite is probably Bliss.
I do like Bliss, and I
Yeah,
like
Bliss
Tiffany.
is cool. I like Bliss.
Yeah, I like Bliss, and for the guys, I probably like. I used to like Kwame, but as the show went on, he kind of like turned me off. So
Oh no.
yeah, I'm all about Brett.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Now, Bliss
Those
is
are my
good.
two
I do like
favorite.
Bliss. You're right, man. Bliss is cool.
yeah, she got the short
She's-
end of the stick on that.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's genuine. She's kind. She's
And
a
then-
good person.
And of course, Tiffany's great too. You know, Tiffany and Brett, the thing they got going, at least right now, is awesome. Like, but you know, as of right now, you're looking at them like, okay, if anybody's gonna make it through this show, it's gonna be those two, right? So,
Yeah, man, these people are making me hungry on the show. They got like all
Yeah,
kinds
man.
of snacks.
Oh,
they got
dude, yeah.
wings sitting out there. I see
Uh-huh.
Red Bulls going on, sushi, all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah, all kinds of good food sitting out
Alcohol,
there, man.
dude, cupcakes. I mean,
Yeah.
they're making me hungry. in
Everything you
there.
need, man. Yeah, exactly.
It's like they got a genie. They just make wishes and stuff happens.
It
Bliss
just has
made
to-
the
it pops
cupcakes
up.
herself.
Yeah.
I don't know where all the other
I
stuff
don't know why
comes
the
from.
other girl couldn't like wish for a cake to give him or anything, but
hey, Netflix, bring me a cake out here.
I guess the genie needs 24 hours notice or something like
Right.
She
that.
was
I don't know.
like, well, she apologized and was trying to be like really nice about it, and then was like, yeah, I forgot it.
Yeah, quite honestly, I just forgot your birthday.
I just forgot.
So you like Chelsea, but she's the girl with 21 shoes.
21.
Shoes make me happy. Do you want to guess how many shoes I brought?
I'm gonna say 13.
No.
How many?
21.
21.
Like she's like, how many shoes you think? He said
When-
13. I was like, that sounds kind of
Yeah.
high. But she said 21.
Well, no, she just brought 21 with her, which means she's
Yeah.
probably got a hell of a lot more than
That's
that back
true.
at home. You know, she's
That's
probably got like a
true.
whole damn closet full of shoes.
21 pairs of shoes.
Like, why do you need
Yeah,
that
that's a
many
lot.
shoes? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I
man.
don't
That's
even
crazy.
think they're there for 21 days in the pod. So I'm like, what are you doing?
Right. No, I think the pods are only like 10 days or something, right? So
That's what they say.
yeah, that's nuts.
Well,
man.
she works out too, so she's got her workout shoes too.
Still, it's
You know,
crazy.
Yeah, so
I don't
Paul
know.
gives Amber some flowers, and Irina's like admiring the flowers, but later on she like craps on the whole situation.
I think when Irina was admiring the flowers, she was being catty about it, right? Because she just kept saying, "Oh, they're sweet,
Like she was-
they're beautiful," and,
Yeah.
and the way she kept going on and on was just catty as hell, right? and she was doing that stuff on purpose. You know, I was like, man, I don't like that shit.
Irina like creeps around the women's living quarters. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
And like eavesdrops, and then she's like laughing at people crying, and I'm like,
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
what is wrong with
doing?
you? Yeah, what is wrong with that shit? Like, especially somebody who has these huge acne scars on her face and flat out said in the beginning, yeah, I used to get made fun of a lot 'cause I had a lot of acne, X, Y, and Z. And it's like, really? Because the way you're freaking making fun of people and treating people right now, you know, you'd have never known it, right? It's like, holy shit. If you know how it feels to be made fun of like that, what the hell are you doing running around here pulling your nonsense?
yeah. And
It's
then
ridiculous.
I don't know. And Micah plays into it. I feel like she's a bad influence on Micah. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
think
if
so, too.
Micah
Yeah.
would have been as catty as she was had there not. I don't know why those two connected.
Yeah, I
But-
agree with that to an extent, but at the same time,
There's something in there.
Micah has no problem jumping on board with that and and
I
doing
know.
her dirt too. So it's like, okay, Micah still had that inside of her no matter what, right? So
She
she's still
says
not.
Micah
she's still
kind
not
of
a good
says the
person.
right things in the pods, though. Like even
And
when
so did Irina.
even when things are kind of going like south, she
Mm-hmm.
expresses how she feels without like going too overboard and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So I give her credit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as like her relationship amongst everybody else, man, you know, like what's her? Who was it? They called him freaking frack. I don't even remember who the hell it was. But that about says it up, man. And freaking
Yeah.
those two are like two little peas in a pod, shitting on everybody else. So
I mean, it's pretty
did
bad.
not like that. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. It's cringy to watch, and you feel bad for everybody else in the house, and you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the guys are like pretty cool, and they
Yeah.
have
They
like
all
beef
get along.
somewhat with each other. Like they're going for the same girl, but
Yeah,
they
they-
do
they
it
t-
pretty
yeah, they talk it out.
respectfully, except
Like-
for one.
Kwame and Paul were kind of like,
Mhm.
you know, when Paul's like, you just don't want to be the villain in your own story. And
That
Kwame's
was
like,
very odd.
You're the villain in
I
my
was like-
story
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
Well, you know, of course,
He's getting all philosophical, and then
Well, I mean-
Kwame's like, yeah.
Yeah, Paul. I mean, because Paul's a scientist, right? So he's a freaking. I mean, he says a lot of shit in this
He's
show. It's like very
analyzing
right,
everything.
exactly. So yeah, but even after that, they got along great. You know, they were still cool with each other and everything. And even the little taff that freaking Marshall and Josh got into, right? But I'll tell you the fun thing about that though, right? So when Marshall's like, oh, he's telling this chick that he's leaving if it ain't her, blah blah blah, and he goes back into the house. He's like, I'm about this, he's like, I'll scrap if I have to. And then it shows Josh.
He's trying to like root him
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Like, who's
Yeah.
this guy doing this?
And then when it finally shows who it is, Josh got like the cauliflower ear and all this shit. I was like, I don't know if you want to scrap with him, Marshall. I mean, but
He's like,
Maybe
you
a
talking
boxer."
about me?
about more than you can chew. Yeah, you talking about me over there, Marshall? I don't know. You the one? Did you have a date? But then they talked it out, right? And they seemed cool after too.
Yeah, but like Marshall got really heated over that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
That's what I'm saying. I think there's some kind of underlying issues with Marshall that we're not quite seeing yet.
Oh, is that so?
So I
Yeah,
like
maybe.
what Marshall has presented so far to his lady. But, with those interactions with the men and how he feels about that,
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there could be another side that we haven't seen yet.
You know who he
But he
reminds me
did
of?
handle her meltdown.
feel slighted that someone has been listening to me bare my fucking soul for days.
He reminds me of that dude that hooked up with Diamond in the other season, kind of a little bit. Was like Carlton.
No.
I don't
Like,
think so.
I think he kinda
Not even close. Not
yeah,
even
no.
The way he went off like that,
No.
it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. I was thinking of
Not
that when I saw that.
even, not
part.
even remotely.
I don't know, man.
the same
Kind
ballpark.
of not to the extreme of that guy was. Obviously, that guy was just a fucking douchebag, right? But for a minute there, I kind of got that vibe from him. So
Yeah, I just don't know why that pissed him off. Like, of course, like multiple people are going for these
Right.
women. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I didn't get
Every
it.
season, this is a problem.
I get he's emotionally invested, but he probably could have handled stuff. Maybe he regrets it or something. I don't know, but
yeah, maybe.
I don't know if they could handle it different when they meet because they spend 2 or 3 nights together, I guess, alone at the resort once
Yeah, something like that.
before they start meeting all the people they previously dated.
Mm-hmm.
But that's always drama, and you have to expect it. And I do like how Chelsea brought that up
Oh, yeah.
before. She's like, "Is this gonna be a problem?"
Mhm.
well, Brett is confessing like his love to Tiffany, and she just falls asleep on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hello, you there?
Oh, I was happy.
That's
Hello."
And honestly, I think she was drunk, man, because the way that went down, as quickly as she fell asleep, and then when the girls finally came in and woke her up,
She still wouldn't
was
wake
out.
up.
and then when
She
she,
was
and then-
out.
and when she did wake up, they were like being giddy towards her, and all of a sudden she just jumped in, was all giddy, and then she's like, "Oh wait, where's he at?" And they're like, "Oh no, he's gone, girl."
He's still like, "Girl, it's been 8 hours later. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I think she was drunk. I think she
I
freaking
feel
literally passed out
bad.
drunk.
I feel bad for how long he had to sit with that.
Uh-huh.
Like Brett goes back, he's like, he doesn't know if she just left because
That's what you would
Yeah.
probably assume.
Right.
you
Exactly.
know. Would you assume that? Would you even
If they're
think,
quiet
hey,
that
maybe she
long?
fell asleep?
No, I wouldn't.
If you
no.
think she
In the
fell
middle
asleep,
of you talking, you'd be like, "That's who does that?"
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if she fell asleep, then maybe you like. If you think that she fell asleep, you kind of bang on the wall
Yeah.
a little bit and be like, start to get a little louder.
Because
but-
she had just confessed her love to him, and then he's like trying to talk back, and all of a sudden it's silence. And he's like, "What the hell?"
Hello?
He's like, you know,
that her pod
that was
burned down.
great.
She's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that was awkward,
that
and
was
he's
hilarious.
like talking about like I'm done, but like the next scene,
He
he's
was fine.
like
Yeah.
in love with her again.
He,
Well,
he was
I
kind
was-
of pulling a Shane right there, right? I'm done with this shit.
I was worried for her because I was really rooting for them, and I was
Mm-hmm.
worried. I was like, how's she gonna bounce back from this? Like
Yeah.
this is tough.
I think in the very next scene, he asked her to marry him. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I guess you got over that pretty quick.
Right, exactly.
Maybe someone passed the message along, and he thought she just walked out. So maybe that's why he's pissed. I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Well,
pretty
he was like,
interesting.
"Look, that was just like a little hiccup. We'll look at it as just a hiccup, and whatever. Let's move
It's a
forward."
funny part of their story.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I did like when Irina is like telling like Chelsea, she's like, I don't know, I'm kind of like a terrible person or whatever, or I'm acting like an a-hole. And she's like, well,
I want to be nicer. I'm like not nice at all.
Why don't you then?
What?
Why don't you then?
just act differently.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, quit being an asshole.
We
Yeah.
can all see it, and we'd all actually appreciate it if you changed it.
Right.
Like-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she's like, you don't have to act like that. So what are you doing? She
I
didn't
don't know,
really
it's
know.
just-
Seem to have like a great response to that. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Mm."
It's
Yeah,
just
man.
the personality I got stuck with, I guess.
Yeah,
Sorry.
man, I love Chelsea's attitude. I love just her no nonsense approach to everything. And like, look, this is how it is, right? Either it's X or it's Y, and there ain't no in between
She
here.
seems to be a problem solver.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Like, she doesn't want to create drama around a problem. Like,
Yep.
she even said that she was okay with Kwame talking to
Yeah.
Micah, you know? It got dragged. I mean, it was way too disrespectful the way how long that dragged
Mm-hmm.
out. But, and she expressed that, but she's like, we're not going to have drama about this. You know what I mean? Like, explain to me why you were.
All right, but
that
before we
situation.
do that though, let's start getting into the couples now.
All
So now
right,
we're
yeah.
kind of getting into
We're
couple
jumping
stuff.
around
That's
again.
right. All right, so now we talked about
Jeez.
just the individual. Let's talk about the couples here. What do
Yeah,
you guys
well,
think about that?
first off, like Zach is torn between two people. What do you
That's
think
true, yeah.
about that?
Well, see, and that's the thing, when they're in the pods, Irina acts completely differently. She tells
Mm-hmm.
Zach she loves him. I don't care what you look like, yada yada. I don't care about any of that stuff. And she's being all
She
sweetheart.
cared.
and of course Bliss, says the same stuff, right? Her Bliss saying the same thing. So Zach's torn between them. But had Zach had insight to what the hell is going on to the women's living area, he might have had a different tune, right?
Which I feel put Bliss in a little awkward situation
absolutely.
because Bliss did not want to go in there and talk about, and you don't want to go in there.
Bad mouth another person.
You don't want to badmouth another person because, like, what does that make you look like?
Mhm.
Like an Irina almost,
Right.
But you also want to let there's a side. I don't know what you're seeing because she doesn't know what side he is seeing,
Mhm.
but she can see. And she kept saying, "I'm not saying she's a bad person. I do think she thinks she's a bad person."
Oh yeah.
She just didn't want to say that.
Right.
And it's hard. Like, she's just trying to give him insight on that. And
I wonder if he could have called like another girl in there and be like, "Can you give me the
Yeah.
411
See, that would've been
on,
smart,
on these
Yeah.
people
That
and what
would've
is
been
going
smart.
on?"
Absolutely.
And I was hoping, like, as Bliss was talking to someone, like maybe they're like, "You know what? I'm gonna talk to him
I would
and
like
set
a
him
date
straight or
with
something."
him.
right.
But
That'd
it
be
never
smart.
happened. So
yeah,
Yeah,
that would have
if
been
Bliss
nice.
had had like Chelsea go in there and talk to him or something, man, yeah, that'd have been perfect.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it didn't happen. And he said he's got to follow his heart, but maybe he should have followed his head. I don't know.
Yeah.
We should have thought about it a little more.
Well, he was so torn, and I mean, we're only seeing what we're seeing, right? Like, this
Mm-hmm.
is all edited, so
When he kept saying she's the one I trust. Oh,
And I didn't
Irina's
understand
the one I
that.
trust, and it's like, why?
Well, I think he was really hurt when Bliss was kind of like, "You're kind of a fool if you choose him," and that says something
Right.
about your
and
judgment. It's
that's
like,
what's
"Oh."
sad is
Yeah.
like she did not want to badmouth her. She didn't want to go in there, and she said one statement, and that struck a chord with him, and that I think really turned him off from her.
Well-
when she's really just trying to look out for him on some level.
See, but at the same time, I feel how he felt that way because he doesn't see what the hell is going on in the women's living quarters.
Yeah.
All he knows is what she's saying to him. So to say that says a lot about your character if you pick her, it's like, no, it didn't say anything about his character because all he knows is what she's telling him. So yeah, for her to say that to him,
But
wasn't-
maybe she's
wasn't
like,
an
"I've
asshole
told you
thing, right?
enough, and you're still going with this."
Right.
So
But of course, if in his mind, he's like, well, are you telling me this because you want me to pick you and you don't want me to pick her, right? So that means
yeah, but Irina was doing the same thing, and he didn't latch onto that. He didn't latch on to anything Irina
She didn't really
said.
talk anything
And
bad
Bliss
about
made
Bliss,
the
though.
cupcakes.
Yeah,
Irina
that's
was
right.
like, I totally forgot it was your birthday. Like, what does that say about you?
Right? Oh, yeah.
And how cringy
Yeah.
was it? She's to go ask for the candle.
Candle.
She's
Oh my
like,
God.
you know, I didn't get him anything. Can I get some of what you're giving him? And like, like that is
Can I just get one of your candles? I was like,
I thought
oh,
she
man.
handled that
Yeah.
pretty poorly because I thought she'd be like, sure, like she's like, what are you gonna do with it? And like,
Mhm.
I mean, you know, like, hey, I'm doing this big thing, and you see it, and you're trying to upstage me, so I get like what she was feeling, but
Yeah.
I don't think she handled
Probably
it
should have.
poorly. I thought she handled it very
I
well.
thought she could have
What?
handled it better.
You thought who could handle it better? Bliss?
Yeah,
No, I
I
thought
mean,
she
Bliss
handled
is-
it perfectly.
I thought she handled it
she
all
made
right.
it awkward.
She didn't make it awkward. Irina made it awkward.
situation was
Right.
awkward.
Right. Irina made it awkward by asking the question in the first place. Like, holy cow.
Jeez.
Man, what are you,
And
team
of course,
Irina?
and even all the other girls are like on Bliss's side, like, oh, she's just trying to start drama. Don't let it get to you,
Yeah.
Bliss, you know? So,
That cupcake looked good too, man. You gotta go with the girl
It
that's
did.
feeding you with the cupcakes and stuff. Come on, what's he doing?
yeah, he was tearing them cupcakes up, too.
Yeah, he was. I'm gonna have to break up with. And now there's another couple that's kind of torn too. Like Paul is talking to Amber, he's talking to Micah, Micah's talking to Kwame, and
Big
and she's talking to
triangle.
Paul. So yeah, it's
Mhm,
kind of a
exactly.
mess. What do you think about that dynamic?
Well, again, you know, Micah, you know, finally made the decision to shut down Kwame and go with Paul. And, you know,
It's,
as we see later on, maybe that was probably not the right decision, I
well,
guess,
it's
based
really
on what we're
weird
seeing.
because
But I
it
don't
seems
know.
like they're going either way. And then
Yeah.
Kwame's and she's like, I really like you. And as soon as it gets serious, she's like, yeah, but I still want to kind of
Yeah.
like,
I still wanna
flex.
fill out
That should have
Paul.
been a huge red flag.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think when they finally ended it, I don't think she was actually trying to end it.
She goes in there and ends it though.
Oh, she
She's
did,
like,
yeah.
I am on a mission.
I need-
And
I
she's
need to
like,
fill out
even
this
telling
slow
Paul,
burn.
like, don't be hearing people out. Just go in there and cut
Cut
ties,
it off.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
No, she wanted Paul to cut ties, but when she
Yeah.
went with Mike, she said, I think we should pursue other. I don't know that she was actually trying to cut that off.
Oh, no, she was. She
Yeah.
was trying to
I
cut it
don't
off.
yeah.
know.
Yeah, she was. By
At
her
first,
saying
she
that,
started off where it seemed questionable, but then she got right
when,
to
yeah,
it.
when she said that and said, hey, we need to pursue other options, at that point, it's
I mean,
like, hey,
what can you say to
right.
that?
And he knows who that other option is, and she knows he knows who that other option is. So,
And it's kind of just weird. Maybe they're running out of time, but like Paul and her decide to make this pact and cut it off with other people. And
Paul
Stick
takes a
it out.
little too long to do it, though.
yeah, things
Like,
in
well,
there a
how
little
long
bit
is
longer.
it to say we're not dating anymore?
they said that it takes what 30 minutes during there, but when it showed his, maybe it's editing or whatnot. But
Right, it didn't seem that long.
yeah.
Yeah, but she was sitting in the. Why isn't
And
she
I
back
feel
yet?
bad
What is going on?
too because Amber came in there so jolly and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
And then she
Oh, yeah.
but she comes back and she's crying, and of course, like Mike is realizing, okay, it's
Yeah,
happened, and
yeah.
then off goes her little minion, Irina.
well,
to,
she has
laugh
like a
and-
big smile. She can't even like
Yeah.
help it. She's just
Yep.
like waiting for that like reaction from her.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's
That is so
yeah,
sad.
the way her and Irina react to other people's freaking feelings is just horrible, man. You know, just horrible.
Well, the other two, the
just don't
guys were
care.
like, "Man, this sucks." You know,
Yeah.
like Paul comes in there, this is a crappy situation.
Marshall
But,
puts
like,
a-
Micah's like,
Marshall puts a blanket over Zach while he's
"Yeah."
crying.
I was
Yeah.
mad at Marshall, but then like as he sees Zach on the crane, he's like, whoosh. I'm like, "Man, he's a good dude.
Yeah, right.
He's a good dude."
He's like, this guy
Yep.
just needs to crawl up with a blanket and
Right,
cry.
exactly. You gotta get it.
Marshall's like, he's the babysitter, man. He's taking care of everyone on
That's
this
right.
show.
That's
Like,
True.
Yeah.
That is true.
literally.
It does play out that way.
Yeah, no, Marshall's a good dude, man.
So, what do we think about these proposals? How that goes down? Because,
I
you
mean,
know,
the-
Irina one was very odd. First off,
Oh, yeah.
That was the only one that was odd.
Yeah, the rest of
though.
them were pretty
And
normal.
you know, in previous seasons, all of them, I cringe those
Well-
moments because I'm like, oh, it's so awkward the way they're kissing, the way they're like, do we kiss, do we touch, do we hug, what are we
Right.
doing?
everybody
They
else,
all
everybody else
seemed
kissed.
very natural.
Chelsea was the only one to run to the man, though.
Yeah, she did.
Chelsea is all in.
Oh,
She is very physical. She's like,
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
mine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
She's
Chelsea's
all
about
in.
it, man.
She's all over him. Yeah,
Mhm.
like if she's not touching him, I think she's uncomfortable. Like she has to be like.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no,
she's-
absolutely.
She's
Um,
Yeah, those,
physically
and those two,
aggressive.
right? I mean, yeah,
And he points that out. He's like, she's not afraid to show me some affection.
that's right. Well, and then of course, you know, Brett and Tiffany. I mean, that one just was. I mean, that was just fluid through the whole, you know,
Yeah.
the whole, everything we've seen so far, right? And there's no hiccups in there really, except
Well,
when she
the
fell asleep. And it's just been a very fluid, you know, progression for them. And you know, for them, it's like, man, it just seemed easy, right? That seemed like out of all of them, that seemed like the easiest one.
Now Irina like extends the hug really quick. Like she's kind of like
Yeah.
I gotta block this kiss that I know is coming, so let me throw the hug out there.
And
Real
then
quick.
he asked her. He's like, "Can we kiss?" And she's like, "No, let's just do hugs right now."
And I don't get that. I really don't get that because also the way Irina was later on talking with Paul, she was like talking with him and like playing with his hand and his beard and like touching him and very affectionate to this guy who she literally just met the way she just met this other guy.
Well, she has said she's an affectionate person. But,
And I can picture her like, I mean, you go out to a bar and you meet a guy and you've talked to him for an hour or two. Sometimes you end up making out, and I know she's going to be this type of person that does this. You know what I mean? You end up making out.
Definitely kind of person.
But you've just now spent 6 days getting to know this guy and say you're going to marry him.
Right, you can't give him a kiss.
And you can't give him a kiss? Like, come on.
Love ain't blind for her.
No, it ain't.
She was full of it in that pod saying that I don't care what you look. And he's not a bad looking dude.
I wonder if she even liked him to begin with, or if it was all about just like extending her stay on the show
and winning and just beating out the other girl. Yeah.
And then Micah's paired up, and that's her buddy, so she's got to find someone.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She's an asshole, dude. Bottom line.
She's one of the worst.
She's horrible, dude. She is horrible. She's the worst person. I mean,
she's worse than Xanon?
She's right up there with Shake, you know? As far as being a horrible human being.
Shake.
She's
She
a female
really
Shake.
is.
Well, at
She's a horrible
least
human being.
Shake showed some
He
excitement
tried?
at first.
Right.
He tried to fake it a little bit.
Yeah,
She
he
doesn't
did.
even try to
No, she
fake
didn't
it
try
at
to fake.
all.
So, she's worse than Shake in that, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
bad.
But if you're not in
Shake's
it,
horrible.
like, no need to draw it out, I don't think
Exactly.
so.
Well, she drew it out for way too long for the
Yeah.
way, and then she even says when it does finally end, she's like, "Yeah, I'm surprised."
Well,
It
maybe
took
she
you so
saw
long."
maybe she saw a sinking ship and was like, I gotta call it off first, you know?
But then she didn't. He finally said,
Yeah,
no. He's like,
he
we're done.
called
You know, he's like, all right, we gotta just call
She's
this
just
off.
like, let's just sit, let's get some space and sit on
Different places in the plane.
different places on the plane. I'm like, red flag?
Yeah.
Like, there were so many. She was raising all the red
yeah.
flags the whole
It's like, I
time.
kind of want to still take my shot with Paul, and I guess I got to be around to do that.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
So
Even-
he's
even though
like, so we're
Paul's-
done.
Even though Paul's with my homegirl, who in the freaking house, right? And it's like, so she didn't give a shit about it. Even her best friend in the house's feelings. At the end of the day, she don't
No.
care about her feelings. You know, she's gunning for Paul.
Yeah, but maybe she knows Micah's not really into Paul.
But even if that's the case,
You still don't.
it's still jacked up, right? So,
Yeah, it is.
And Micah thinks so as well. You can tell that she's like, hey, this ain't, it ain't
That's
cool.
a preview for the next one. We
Yeah.
don't know that yet.
But yeah, Irina's a pure horrible human being, man. It's especially for somebody who claims, oh, I was bullied because of my acne and blah, 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 blah. And then just the way she acts, like, dude, get out of here.
So they go to Mexico, and they're hanging out. What do we think of that experience? Anything stand out to you?
So, I mean,
There?
most of the couples did fine. I mean, I think, like, right off the bat, like, a couple of them had sex. And then eventually, all four, well, no. So the only two that haven't had sex, so obviously, is Irina and Zach. And then Paul and Micah haven't had sex yet either, right? But the three couples have all had sex. They're all getting along pretty well. You can tell, like, Paul and Micah.
Has Marshall, though?
Yeah, Marshall finally had sex. They finally had sex.
They talked about it. There was
Yeah.
all the girly talk about it.
I thought I
They
saw
were
in the
sore.
trailer, like, she brings it up, like, we're not even having sex.
Now, yeah, what she means now.
In
evidently.
Mexico, you can have sex. It's when you get home
Out
to
of country,
Seattle.
When you get home and you're living a normal life, no more sex, right?
There's no sex in Seattle, apparently.
Well, I mean, that's the big thing to me. Like, they're there for 2 or 3 days, and then she's freaking out, and then Marshall's
dude.
kind
She
of
has a
like
meltdown,
talking her
yeah.
down. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like,
I
put this shit in the fridge.
Jack, he's like giving her aspirin or whatever it is, drinks, and then she's like, put that in the fridge, and he's like,
Huh? And right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's funny
But she
is
didn't
I
say,
don't
"Can
know.
you put that in the fridge?"
Oh,
or
no.
"Will you?" Or
She
she just
she's
said, "Put that in the
demanded-
fridge,"
she
and
demanded
he's like, "Hmm."
Put that back in the fridge.
The meltdown seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was an editing issue, like you
yeah,
know,
they didn't show us a lot.
and it says that it's about,
Her
I guess,
family.
thinking about going back home and having to face reality when they get back home, and she's just kind of coming to realization of all that drama that's going to ensue when that happens.
Right.
But it seems to come out of nowhere, at least for what we're watching, and he almost looks like it came out of nowhere.
to him. Yeah. Well, he even said that. He was like, can we just get back to where we were earlier today? You know?
And I was surprised because I was worried when he said that. I was like, ooh, that could go the wrong way. She could be like, oh, so my feelings
Right,
don't
right,
matter.
I did like how Jackie was like, "That won't happen again." He's like, "Even if it does, we'll
Yeah.
get through it." You know what I mean?
He handled it
Oh, he
great.
did handle it like a champ. No doubt.
And Jackie like probes him. What do you think about the people and kind of how they look? And he's like, they all look good in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very mature, and I like the way he's dealing with it.
Yeah, it's kinda like-
It
Still
might
think
be
there's
too much
something
at some
there.
point, though.
I think
for
there's
him.
something there. I
Yeah.
don't know.
But but she,
holding reservations
evidently
on
it's
it.
alluding to like her family life at home isn't good, right? Like she's got a
Yeah.
lot of issues with her family at home and stuff, and it's kind of where what I was taking from that. But I guess we'll find out in the next couple episodes.
I think
maybe.
it came across to me that she puts up. There's a lot of burden on her.
On her, yeah.
For her family. I don't know if that's financially, emotionally, or
All
what
of the
it
above,
is.
maybe,
yeah,
yeah.
but
So they all get together, and Kwame's like, I need closure. I gotta go talk to this
I'm
Micah
gonna talk to
chick.
Micah.
And he brings it up to Chelsea beforehand. He's like, hey, do you have an issue if I were to do that? And she's kind of like, nah.
no, I respected that. Like I like that they had that conversation
Mm-hmm.
beforehand and not like in the previous seasons. Like, oh, you're talking
Yeah.
to her at the pool. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, and
He just didn't handle that conversation well.
Well, he totally ignored her. At one point, she's like, hey, babe, can you give me some guac? And he's like, yeah, get you some guac. And he totally forgot about the
no,
guac.
yeah,
I'm like,
oh,
when are
yeah.
you going to give her guac?
Yeah, but
right,
then
exactly. Get your woman some guac,
but
and then
then
it showed
they-
her getting her own guac later.
Yeah, I know. I was
But
like,
then
what?
frickin' Frack, even though he didn't get
Uh-huh.
it, frickin' Frack immediately piggybacked and said,
Get a
hey, can you
shot.
get us
Let's
some tequila
shot.
shots? And I like how he was like, get your ass up and get
Yeah,
your own
right.
damn tequila
Right,
shots. Like, I ain't
exactly.
your man. I ain't getting you shit.
Uh-huh.
But
the-
then he has no problem
but-
taking the shot from
Oh,
her.
yeah.
No, actually,
Well-
he put the shot down.
Well, because of what she said, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
like, here's to failed proposals. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why she snuck that in when she's the one who
Dude, she-
broke it off with him.
Exactly.
And he didn't propose.
Yeah, and he didn't propose.
So-
Well, he was about to, and she knew he was about to. But yeah, he didn't get a chance to. She just broke it off.
Yeah.
But they still do some flirting after that.
Right, and that's where
And
he
they
really
leave
went
that
wrong.
door open, wide open.
There's
like,
a
I
lot
still
of
like you. I got a lot of
touching.
feeling
Oh, yeah.
for you, and
Well,
blah,
see,
blah, blah, blah,
and-
blah.
And that's the thing, and it's really her doing all that, right? I really love you still, and I feel for you. And it's like, bitch, you're the one that broke it off with him in the pods. You know, you can't
I
pull
think
this stuff
she's-
now.
It's part of the whole catty woman thing. She wants
Oh,
what
yeah.
she can't have, and she also wants to know that she can have anything
Anything
she
she
wants.
wants. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I don't because I don't think she's completely done with Paul, but she would totally if Kwame was like, yeah,
Oh,
Chelsea's the wrong girl for
absolutely.
me. She would go for Kwame.
Yeah, she would
And
in a
I
heartbeat.
think so. She wants to keep that door open.
Mhm.
But how touchy feely they were,
Oh,
and
he was holding her hand, rubbing on her fingers and stuff.
Chelsea
It's like, dude, what are you
is
doing?
a strong woman to
Oh,
deal with that
absolutely.
because that would have been like.
Yeah, the
And you
fact-
can tell the other girls were like,
the
no, I
fact-
would be
There's
shutting that
always
down.
one couple that pulls this, like one person that pulls this.
Yeah.
And this season, it's Micah. But like, I do like how she was eating her food. Like, should I break it up? And they're like, girl, you better get in. And she's like,
yeah, to Chelsea, yeah.
But
And what-
Chelsea
what-
doesn't. She doesn't
No.
break it up, and then instead she just walks away from it.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that like that night when they're back in the room talking together, that she didn't just freaking go off on him. She like handled it very,
Well, I did like where
I
he
was
was
like,
trying to like spin some crap. Like, no, I
She
need
was
some
like,
closure.
nope.
She's like,
Nope.
hell no.
Yeah.
She's like, you're done, freaking done.
See, I have to stop you right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
did like that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like when she
absolutely.
said, do you feel like you got the closure? And he's like, sort of, yes.
And she was
Is
like,
it closed or is it not?
he's like, okay, I got what I needed. I got what I needed. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, no, you're done with this.
See, that's
or we're
kind of like
done.
an issue
Oh, yeah.
too, because he's just kind of like placating her. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
'cause I
So
don't
it's
think he
like,
does have
he's
that
like,
closure.
He's not done. And of course we see that in the previews, right? There's still more Micah for Kwame.
And that's not good. And
No,
because
it's not.
I really liked Kwame. So Kwame, I put him with Chelsea from the beginning. In my notes in the very first episode, I said, there was Kwame, and then it was like, okay, is it Chelsea or is it
Micah.
Micah?
Yeah, I was rooting
and
for Chelsea.
I rooted for Chelsea the whole time. I did not want him with Micah. I wanted him with Chelsea. So
Right, well, especially after you
You
see how
know.
catty Micah is with freaking Arena. It's like, no, screw
And
that.
this was before I even realized how catty Micah was.
Mhm.
This was just at the very initial meeting when he opened up about being a professional soccer player and the injury. Her empathy, it's empathy, however you say that. She was there for him, and she said, "I bet people don't really give you enough credit for how much it is to adjust to come back from
Right.
being a professional athlete to just like a regular
Normal
Joe
life, yeah.
person." And I'm sure that to me that struck a chord. Not that I'm a professional athlete or I've known it in one, but I see that that's a problem, and people don't do that. They usually just kind of like, you made a lot of money, you're an athlete or whatever, and now you have to work in the real world with the rest of us. Like
Mhm.
there is an adjustment, and I'm sure that's hard.
yeah, must be very hard.
someone doesn't have empathy over
Must be hard for
here.
these guys made millions of dollars.
So now Irina is making moves for Paul all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, right in front of Paul's.
Well, Micah's kind of too busy to even notice what the hell's going on here.
Yeah.
But that does remind me, like when Kwame is talking to Micah, people are like, "Where's her man?"
Who's her person
So,
again?
like, I don't know, but where is he?
Was it Paul?
Where the fuck is he?
I mean, I know.
Who is she with?
Well, and they don't even pan to him. Like, he's like, where is he? That's a valid question.
Because he's out flirting with freaking damn Irina, man.
Who is her person? Where is her person?
Well, and the funniest thing too is like, so Paul had just got done like comforting Zach through all this shit. Oh yeah, you know, to talk about Irina and all that, and then immediately he's like, whoop, he starts flirting with Irina right in front of him, and I was like, oh, what an asshole! God,
Yeah, very odd.
oh,
Yeah. I don't understand like that whole dynamic of it's just too much. It's too much. And I think they need more time away from each other before they all get back together to pursue because like I said, these are rushed relationships to begin with. And you have these strong connections with two or more people right away. And then you have to decide, okay, I could go with you or I could go with you. And then I decide to go with you. And now I'm just supposed to feel nothing for you?
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean, the way I'm looking at it right now, the dynamite's been lit, and it's only a matter of time this whole freaking thing blows up in everybody's face.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
probably will.
you know,
who's got the staying power?
right.
Who do you think's got the staying power?
Well,
Seriously, I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I think out of all those, I don't think any of them are gonna last. I don't think any of those groups. I think Kwame's gonna completely ruin it with Chelsea. You know, and which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
because,
probably.
You know,
Yeah.
I think so.
I agree.
And he's an idiot for doing that, right? Because Chelsea's a way better.
They
woman than freaking
hint
Micah.
at Brett and Tiffany
Yeah.
might not make it.
Right,
but
exactly. But we've seen them hint at stuff like that
I
before.
know,
and,
God.
yeah.
I hope that's fake because I really,
Yeah.
I really root for them.
Yeah,
But-
they do like to throw you off.
Oh yeah, I mean the only one I would see making it really is Brett and Tiffany,
Brett and
right?
Tiffany, yeah.
And because even Jackie and Marshall, it's like probably not. You know, I think she's just right now he can handle her emotions and stuff, but I don't know how long is that gonna last, right? And you kind of see in the previews.
I did find it like odd because he early on, like when they were in Mexico, says like, "What do you think about like intimacy and stuff like that?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "You know, you drive the car before you buy it, right?"
He's like, should we wait before marriage? She's like, no.
And then she's like, huh? Like, that's the dumbest
she was
question
like-
I've ever heard. And then,
This guy.
and then, like, 4 rooms down, you got Irina and Zach,
Right,
and she's like, we can't kiss.
Yep, can't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Yeah.
We got this teddy bear in between the two of us when
Oh,
we
yeah,
sleep.
Even Ralph knew it was over.
That's right. Oh,
Ralph's
poor,
looking at
and poor Ralph's caught in the middle, you know.
him like, "What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?"
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it is kind of funny to see these other couples connect. They start like, and not everyone had sex like the first night.
No, but they all.
But they
three of
all
them, yeah.
eventually start. They start with this physical contact and whatever, and even just like holding hands or something like that. And Irina's like, "Do not touch me. Do not touch me." And she tells everybody like he'll like put his arm around me and I cringe or
Well-
and the blowing of the kisses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is
She's
so
like,
Oh,
awkward.
yeah. Right.
She puts a pillow over her head. She's like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to
Right.
see
Well,
it.
and of course, all the other women are jumping like, "Oh, he's so gross!" Like, you know, "Oh, let's dodge a bullet." And again, we haven't seen anything on the show to show us that he's,
No.
a,
Yeah, I
he's a
don't know
gross
why they're
guy.
making those kind of
Yeah.
comments, but
You know, exactly. I don't either because again, it's supposed to be love is blind.
that's also
right?
weird too because Jackie's not into Irina and she's making comments about him like that too. so
Jackie
it's weird.
seems to be on whatever camp she's sitting with.
Yeah, that's true, right?
I
Because-
noticed
yeah,
that.
I agree.
If she's sitting with Irina and Micah, then she's like kind of on their camp. If she's
Sitting with
sitting,
Chelsea,
yeah, she's
yeah.
gonna be on their camp.
Yep.
She's
doesn't-
taking notes when she's with him though. She's like, "That chick does stupid crap for
Yeah,
no
right.
reason."
I don't know how she
Yeah.
truly feels, but she'll talk crap with the crowd.
I think she
she's
likes
right.
a
Yeah,
little
you're right.
drama, but Marshall doesn't play like when she's like, "What do you think about those guys?" He's like, "Oh, they're cool." And you're like, boring.
Right. Well, that's when who is it that says something? Was it somebody? Chelsea's mentioned like said something bad about Zach, and Marshall's like, "Dude, I like Zach. You know, Zach's cool. You know, you might not like
Yeah.
Zach, but I like Zach. You know."
Yeah.
And again, it's like, why are these women all shitting on Zach? Because he seemed like a nice guy. You know.
Well, everybody shit on Cole last season, and
That's true.
we didn't really see why
Yeah.
for that either. So
And Micah tries to talk to Chelsea and kind of make nice, and then the storm happens.
Mm-hmm.
so they don't get closure.
Right. Yeah, of course, Chelsea's like, "Damn it."
Like she doesn't really care though. She's like, "Whatever, I don't need closure."
Yeah, well, at first she was like, "Damn it," but then she's like, yeah, I'm the kind of person that doesn't need closure, and I don't. She's like, "I don't need it," right? But she still wanted it at least,
Yeah.
because she was the one to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea cares one way or another.
She just wants her to stay away from her man.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
I think she wants her man to stay away from her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
so-
but I tell you, the previews though, man, showed a whole hell of a lot of
Yes,
drama. in
well,
front of us,
Zach
So
ends up ditching Irina, and he's in the restaurant meeting
Bliss, that's how it
Bliss
is.
again.
Yeah.
Do you think Bliss forgives him?
I don't know. We'll see. In the very beginning, when before the first episode kicks off, it starts, it gives us all that, crap about what's going to happen, and you hear Zach say, "Oh, I picked the wrong woman. I proposed to the wrong woman, but now I need to propose to the right woman." Like he's talking to this person.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and then I heard them talking in the freaking, in the pods. And then I saw that between him and Bliss is like, that's the guy. I'm like, that's the guy.
That's
this
the
happens
one doing
with.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agreed that I knew that was going to be the situation with him, but I
Mhm.
didn't know which way it was going to go.
Right, exactly.
But then as it got closer, I was like, yeah, obviously he's going to get with Irene, realize she's crazy, and then want to get with Bliss.
I do like how they give an opportunity to meet with her, and
Yeah.
I wonder if she's like, okay, let's do this. Is he back in the show with her now, or how does that work?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
And then they give Josh a second shot, it looks like, too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows him quickly in there trying to get old Jackie to go with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts.
Yeah, well, there you have it, folks. Love is Blind Season 4 is back. Looking forward to these next couple episodes. Please tell us what you thought about it. We'd love to chat with you guys on this. And typically with this show, we get a lot more conversation with you guys than on some other shows we do. And we always look forward to it. And hey, hit like and subscribe, and we will check you in our next review.
See ya.
See ya.
Well, look, this has been going on for 50 minutes. There's no sense in saying what you said.
It's a funny bit.
It wasn't funny at all. Nothing funny about that.
I don't know.
I took notes. Oh! No one's doing that.
Points out.